Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to take a closer look at a coin that many of us have handled countless times but may never have stopped to fully appreciate. I'm talking about the 1997 1-penny coin. At first glance, it may look like just a small, ordinary piece of change. But when we slow down and examine its design, its history, and the context in which it circulated, we discover that this coin tells a fascinating story about everyday life, national identity, and the simple beauty of coins in circulation. The role of the penny. The penny has always been the smallest unit of British currency, but that does not make it insignificant. Introduced in decimal form in 1971, the modern 1-penny coin replaced the older pre-decimal penny that had been in circulation for centuries. By the 1990s, pennies were part of nearly every transaction, passed around constantly in shops, pubs, and markets. The 1997 penny belongs to this period of busy daily use, when coins were not only functional but also deeply familiar to millions of people. Obverse design. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, we find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The version used on the 1997 penny was the third official portrait of the Queen, created by sculptor Raphael Maklouf. It shows the Queen wearing the royal diadem crown, facing right, with elegant detail in the hair and facial features. This portrait, introduced in 1985, was used on British coinage until 1997, giving it a sense of continuity and recognition. By the time this coin was struck, the image had become iconic to generations of people across the United Kingdom. Reverse design. Flipping the coin over, we see the reverse design featuring a crowned portcullis, a gate with chains, topped by the crown of St. Edward. This design, created by Christopher Ironside, had been used on the penny since decimalization in 1971. The portcullis symbol is closely associated with the Palace of Westminster and has long been tied to British government and history. For a coin of such small value, it carried a design of strong symbolism, connecting everyday commerce to centuries of tradition and authority. Coin specifications. The 1997 penny was struck in copper-plated steel, marking an important change. Up until 1992, British 1-pence coins were made of bronze, but rising metal costs forced the Royal Mint to adopt the new copper-plated steel composition. The coin weighs 3.56 grams, measures 20.3 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain edge. Although the change in metal saved costs, it also altered the character of the coin slightly, giving it a different magnetic property compared to earlier bronze issues. Circulated condition. When we examine a 1997 penny in circulated condition, we notice the marks of its life in everyday use. The Queen's portrait often shows smoothing across the crown and facial features, while the portcullis design on the reverse can lose detail in the chains and bars. The once bright reddish shine of fresh copper plating typically fades into darker tones, with patches of wear, scratches, and sometimes small spots of corrosion. These signs of circulation are not flaws, they are evidence of the coin's journey through countless hands and transactions. Everyday life in 1997. To understand this coin fully, it helps to remember the world in which it circulated. The year 1997 was a major turning point for the United Kingdom, most famously marked by the election of a new government under Tony Blair and the tragic passing of Princess Diana. It was also the year Hong Kong was handed back to China. All of these historical events unfolded while ordinary people continued their daily routines, often with coins like this penny slipping through their fingers at shops, newsstands, and bus counters. Collecting the 1997 penny. From a collector's perspective, the 1997 penny is not considered rare. Tens of millions were minted, and most examples in circulated condition carry only their face value. However, that doesn't mean they are without interest. For those building a complete date run of decimal pennies, the 1997 issue is an essential piece. Uncirculated examples or proof strikes hold greater appeal, and coins with minting errors, such as off-center strikes or misaligned dies, can sometimes fetch a premium. Why this coin still matters. Even if the 1997 penny is common, it holds value in its story. It represents not only a unit of currency but also a piece of history, the everyday money of the late 1990s. For many people, it evokes memories of childhood pocket money, small purchases at corner shops, or spare change rattling in a jar. Its circulated condition is part of its charm, showing that it was used, handled, and valued by real people in real moments of life. Conclusion. In conclusion, the 1997 1-penny coin may be small in size and modest in value, but it carries a wealth of meaning. From its royal portrait and symbolic portcullis design to its copper-plated steel composition and lived experience in circulation, it reflects both tradition and change. It is a coin that tells the story of a time and place, and even in its worn, circulated condition, it remains a tangible reminder of history. So next time you come across a penny from 1997, take a moment to appreciate it, because every coin, no matter how ordinary, has a story to tell.